The Pointer Sisters were responsible for some of the most successful soul dance tracks of all time. The lead vocalist of majority of their catchy tunes, Miss June Porter, is the subject of today's video. Now before we get started, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to stay up to date. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. June Antoinette Porter was the youngest child of Sarah and Reverend Elton Porter when she was born on November 30th, 1953 in Oakland, California. Her parents was West Oakland Church of God pastors, and the sisters, they were singing in the church choir at this time. With their parents who was pastors, they was raised in a very strict household where activities such as dancing, watching TV, and wearing cosmetics were frowned upon. It's said that the girls was always interested in many activities besides church and mainly music, as they would wait until their parents left, and as June put it in a 1981 interview, she would say, "Get back in the back room and beat pie pans with spoons, making that rhythm and jamming together." June and her sister Bonnie would create the Pointers, a pair in 1969, and began performing in San Francisco nightclubs. Anita, she would leave her job as a secretary later that year and join them, this becoming the Pointer Sisters. After being found at a nightclub, the trio, they would sign a contract with Atlantic Records. They would put out a couple singles on the label, but the singles didn't really have too much impact. By 1972, their older sister Ruth had joined them, this making them a quartet. The sisters, their career began to take off once they signed a new deal with Blue Thumb Records. Now, for more information about the Pointer Sisters, please be sure to check out their video. June would eventually start a solo career while still performing with the Pointer Sisters. Her debut album, Baby Sister, was released in 1983 and it had a minor hit with Ready for Some Action. In 1989, she would release her second album, and it was a self-entitled album with one hit single titled Tight on Time.
The alarm goes off and I'm up and gone into the downtown world where I've got to be strong to keep a...
Now June would do a song titled Little Boy Sweet for the 1983 movie National Lampoon Vacation. As well, she would score a top 5 hit with Bruce Willis in 1987 with their cover of Respect Yourself by the Staple Singers. She would also become quite known in 1989 for modeling for Playboy. A star for the Pointer Sisters was added onto the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1994, and from 1978 to 1991, June, she was married to William Oliver Whitmore II. Now, while the Pointers had rose to stardom during the 70s and 80s, June, she experienced many mental breakdowns throughout that decade, making the benefits of their fame frequently sour.
Drug use that started when she was only 13.
This was the end of what I couldn't take anymore.
This was Valium.
And then you end up being addicted to crack cocaine.
What she says about singing in concert completely stoned, and more from People magazine. Behind the multi-million-dollar success of the Pointer Sisters, there was a secret. June Pointer was addicted to crack cocaine. Now she talks to our Mark Steinis about the lows of being high in this Entertainment Tonight cover story.
I was very good about hiding my addiction. I knew that this was the end of what I couldn't take anymore.
Even as she triumphed on stage with her sisters, June Pointer was growing weaker as drugs and alcohol consumed her life. In the latest issue of People magazine, she reveals that she hit rock bottom when she collapsed before a live performance in London.
I'll wake in with coke up under my nose and someone telling me to sniff, and till this day I don't remember what song I sang, and I was singing lead.
June's relationship with drugs actually began years before she became a star. She grew up in a tough neighborhood in Oakland, California, and started using marijuana as a child.
Well, I could get drugs at school if I wanted to. This is when I was like 13, 14 years old.
As the Pointer sisters took off, June turned to alcohol, cocaine, Valium, and Seconal. Even her proudest moments were clouded by her substance abuse.
1994, the Pointer sisters received that coveted star on the Walk of Fame.
Oh, I remember that morning getting drunk as fast as I possibly could.
And then you end up being addicted to crack.
Well, I lost a lot. I lost money, I lost my home, and I lost...
Give me an idea how much money you blew on...
No, probably I'd say about 20,000.
Just on the crack?
Yeah, now just the last three years. The most important thing that I did lose was my self-pride that I have back now.
She has that pride back because of a 30-day stint at the Promises West LA Rehabilitation Center. And after 50 days of sobriety, she says she owes a debt of gratitude to her sisters, who forced her out of their act with promises that she could return only if she kicked the habit.
What would you say to them? I mean, those who you possibly let down or disappointed?
Well, I'd say that I'm human, you know, first off, and I have an illness because I'm an addict. But I'm also a person with a heart and a soul.
Now, by 2000, June's conduct had become increasingly unpredictable and influenced by cocaine and Xanax. In 2004, June, she was kicked out the group until she became sober, at which point her niece, Issa, had took her place. June, she was accused of felony cocaine possession and a misdemeanor of possession of a smoking device in April of 2004. As a result, she was instructed to go to a rehabilitation facility. Weeks later, June, she was detained one more time on suspicions of assaulting her ex-boyfriend.
June Pointer, the youngest member of the sibling sensation known as the Pointer Sisters. Hits like fire catapulted the singing sisters to fame a few decades ago. But June, the baby Pointer, got burned when she suffered a free fall into drug addiction, forced to leave the family affair years ago.
Let the record reflect the defendant is present in court.
Now, after a years-long struggle to stay clean and sober, prosecutors say June fell again a couple of weeks ago, arrested in Los Angeles and charged with felony cocaine possession and misdemeanor possession of a smoking device. But June, who looked lean, healthy, and in control, told me she's getting up again.
If you fall down, you have to get back up and just keep on looking, you know, and asking God to keep you covered in His heart. And that's what I do. I pray every morning and every night.
June blames no one for her drug troubles. She believes there may even be a purpose.
God has been a reason for me to be here, and the experience I've gone through, I think I will be able to teach others.
Time being waived is now set June 9, 2004.
June Pointer pled not guilty Friday. Her lawyer, Sammy Weiss, told us he's convinced the case will go away.
She was just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and maybe associating with the wrong people.
I'm so excited! And while hits like I'm So Excited made this, and she's working on a solo album.
We have the good harmonies, you know, and the messages, the positive, and it's all about all I can tell you right now. I don't want to give it away too much, but it's funky.
You ever imagine any sort of musical reconciliation?
Reunion? I think so.
Now, on February 27th, 2006, June, she would suffer from a stroke and was hospitalized, but she would later discover that she had cancer that had spread to her breast, colon, liver, and bones. June, she would pass away on April 11, 2006 at the age of 52. A family statement was released shortly after her passing, stating that June died in the arms of her sisters Ruth and Anita, as well as her brother Aaron and Fritz by her side.